Hi guys, welcome back. So today I wanted to do a review on my coffee maker. I've been having it for around, let's say, like 2 months now, but I use it almost daily. So the company, it's, I don't know, it was Sokani, or let me show you the box. So this is the company name. Sokani coffee maker. A friend of mine bought it for me for my wedding gift. So yeah, so it's not that I had read about it or used it before. So yeah, so this is the coffee maker. It comes like this, the way it is. This is the mug, the jar, where now the coffee comes afterwards. Then so hapa juu, this is where you place your water. In a measure D12, I think it's, I don't know, I'm not so sure. I thought it was liters, but it's not liters. So yeah, here is where you place your water. Then hapa kuna the mesh. So here's a measuring spoon. Then there's now this other part. So you remove from here. There's this part inakuja hivi, so you remove. So hapa we have the mesh. So here is the mesh, and then this now is a mesh filter. So here is now where you put your coffee. So you measure, then you put your coffee here, then now you put it back, then you put your water, then you set it, then inaanza tu hivyo, then you wait for it. So I thought I thought ni the one where now you can just put the beans as a whole, but no. So here you just put the coffee. So kama ni medium roast, fine roast, yeah. So yeah, so that's the just called monument kwa jina hapa. Yeah, so this is the coffee maker. So I'm going to show you how I use it to make my coffee. Okay. Okay, so the first step will be to add water. So maji ndio hii. Our water is usually salty, so it brings a different taste to the coffee at the end of it. So I usually use the water that I use for drinking. At least the water that I use for drinking is fresh, not a little bit fresh. It's fresh. So we are going to tutapima hapa. Normally naekanga if you came back at 10. Yeah, so normally I put if you came back at 10, and then now I put the amount of coffee that I want sasa hapa. So yeah guys, so nimeka put water if you came back at 8. I think the whole thing measures maybe, I think 1,500 mils, the whole water reservoir, the whole of it. And when you see the jar itself, so you see it's like the same. So ukiweka 12 itafika hadi 12, ukiweka 10 itafika hadi 10, ukiweka 8 itafika hadi 8, depending on like the number of people you're making for. You know, there's other logistics that vary when you're using it. So yeah, so I put water. Then the next step now will be to measure the coffee. So the coffee that I use, oh god, this coffee, it's Spring Valley coffee. Okay, so before it's Kenyan made. Yeah, it's made in Kenya. Region is Central Kenya. Yeah, roasted by Frederick Odera. They write, so they usually have the beans, the medium grind and the fine grind. So this one I bought the medium grind, but you can get now the fine grind. I think the intensity will be more, and there's also, I don't know if it will be more or less, and then there's also the beans if you want. So if you had a coffee maker, or you can just buy the beans, then you blend them using the blender, then now you come and roast, which is also okay. So it's roasted in Kenya. I got an idea of this coffee through my sister. My sister is a coffee lover. Yeah, so I just knew when I wanted to buy, I just knew who to go to, because she knows her coffee anyway, anajua like all those types. So yeah, so she told me to buy this. She heard about it, and I think she's also tried it. So yeah, so I don't regret. Iko Yeah, so it's gourmet. So they had two types. I think they had gourmet and they had was it latte? I can't remember the other type, but the gourmet has so she was telling me to buy the gourmet because now it has like smooth finish with hints of butter, vanilla and ash, which to say the truth, that's what actually it brings. Yeah, so this is the hint of butter, vanilla, yani that's why I bought the gourmet. But they have I think two types or three types. Yeah, so it's available in the supermarket. I bought mine from Neighbors. Yeah, so this is the packaging. This is how it comes about. So when it was roasted, best before, yeah, the batch number, and then now in the other things in case of anything that you want to know. Yeah, so this is the coffee. Yeah, for all those who want to have a coffee maker, you're trying out something new, I'd advise you to buy this. It's good. Yes, easy catcher. Yeah, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to measure. So the first day I used this coffee maker. They were saying I put 8 of this. I mean, 8 where it was really strong. I didn't even enjoy the coffee. I didn't even like, it was just too much coffee. It was very bitter. But now I usually use four of this, depending on the amount in neka. So sometimes I put around 3 to 4, because I think you only need like mob sana. So today I'm going to put 3, so that it brings it's quite too strong. But again it depends on how you love your coffee. I don't like it too strong. And when niliweka 3 ilikuwa tesemaji, like ili bring its taste, like the vanilla, the butter, ili bring its taste. So I put 3 of this. Can you see? Yeah, so I put 3 because hata sijajaza anyway. Yeah, so you put 3. So after that, nimeweka hiyo hapo ndani. So after that, what I do to preserve this coffee, it has a ziplock. Yes, it has a ziplock. So no, first I remove the air, then I ziplock it. Then after ziplocking it, I store it in the fridge. Not the freezer, the fridge hapo chini pale unawekanga your veggies and your everything. Yeah, so I store it in the fridge so that it doesn't lose its, sometimes when you put coffee, there's this other one that I had, I bought it in kama ile kahawa number 1, but I think for dormants. So when you hapa ina lose its, the more I smell ina lose its, like you can't compare venye nimefungua hii saa hii because nimeitoa kwa fridge, iko na hiyo like intensity and the like for the coffee in a preserve. So hii ingine nafunga tu nimeweka hapo, which by kuweka hapo ina lose its normal scent and everything. So so here I store it in the fridge. I was doing some research and I saw somewhere they were saying that when you store it in the fridge, it doesn't lose its normal, like, I think mnanielewa, hailose yani it's like it's how it was originally. It doesn't lose the scent, it doesn't lose the scent, and also the flavor of the coffee. Yeah, nimeongea sana hapo, but anyway you understand what I was meaning. Yeah, so I just venyiko naikanga kwa fridge. Yeah, so when I want to use it, I just take it out and I use it. So this is Spring Valley coffee to go for. So the next step, so I've put I've put, so you put it here hapo sasa kwa the mesh filter. I hope mnaezaona. You put the coffee there. So I've only put 3, but you can put like when you tuna jisikia me stakangi kwa like too strong for me, so I put 3. Yeah, then after that, don't forget kama unataka kutoa, you can toa, you remove. You can see ndio hiyo hapo, umeona ndio hiyo hapo 3. Put 3 spoons. So it depends, kama mine came with the spoon, kama yenu haina, you can also just use a normal spoon, and it's not that it's magic science. then sasa you close. So make sure that sasa your measuring jug iko hapo pale, there's a hole hapa chini where sasa it comes down, and yeah, so everything. So this is the power on switch. Kama mnaweza ona, this is the power on switch. So hapa ndio you put it on, inawaka hapo. But then sasa for your coffee now to start brewing, kuna a other switch here. So this switch is now where when your coffee is ready, you can switch it again for it, like to keep it warm. You can switch it again to like, yeah, to keep your coffee warm, ama kama you wanted to reset the whole process again. So ndo unafinya hapa, but now this is the main switch. So hapa imeonyesha that imewaka, then sasa tunafinya hii. Sasa mnaona hapa venye imewaka hiyo blue, so inamaanisha that the coffee now is ready to be prepared. Then now we wait. So guys, yeah, so yeah, venye sasa nimeweka on, now you can see what it's doing. It's the water now is coming now from there to here. There's like a pipe inside that now the water inakuja juu, comes here, inafilteriwa nini, yeah, inafilteriwa, inamekiwa, and then you can see hapo sasa chini inakuja inamwagika sasa to the jar. Yeah, so basically that's it. So now you wait. Okay guys, ngesikia hiyo smell ni kwa hii nyumba ya coffee. It's just the perfect smell. This is what wakes up in the morning. But anyway, my my partner has been complaining that I have a lot of electronics, that I end up spending a lot of electricity. But anyway, he gets a good cup of coffee, so hafe kuwa na complain sana. Yeah, so yeah guys, I hope you're seeing the process. Yeah, so that's Spring Valley coffee to go to. If I after this, I think bado nitabaki kwa hii, but I can buy another type of coffee and then I review it. We see how the new coffee lovers, how we're going to do about it, because yeah, it's just the beginning. But my to go to person, my sister, shout out kwa kunisaidia na hizo maneno za coffee. Yeah, because she's just the best when it comes to coffee. Like her and coffee are just best friends. I think even if I was to buy her a gift and she'll just be happy, I think it's just a coffee maker, especially the big one, yanis, with where you can use also the beans without blending them. I think she'll be in love with me. Yeah, so guys, we give it time na tunangoja. So let's wait. So guys, it has come to the end. So unaona ikizima, this part here inazima, so it means that it's now ready. Though sasa I can turn it off sasa hapa, but now naona the margin ilikuwa hapa yote imeisha. So this hapa chini is another hot split that keeps so it keeps this with the glass, like it keeps the coffee hot, so it can stay here for some time if you want. So they are saying like rebrewing the coffee loses its sorry guys, walikuwa nasema acha nisome hapo because I can't really they were saying like rebrewing it, I can't really remember what they were saying, but for me I don't, because we are only 2 of us, so we just take this and we don't have an need for rebrewing it. Like there's no need for us to rebrew the coffee. So when I got the coffee maker, the first thing I did was to test it out. So when you're testing it out, you put water alone without putting coffee, then you let it do what it was doing. Like chukua maji, filter nini, then now you can use it now using coffee. Yeah, I think that's basically it. If there's any questions, guys, you can always ask me. But for them, they are saying it's better if you use like a fine grind. But me, I've been using medium grind. I don't know about. I'll try fine grind my next batch, and I see, or I'll buy another one for fine grind. Then I tell you the same company but fine grind. I'll tell you how it is and the differences between the two. But I use medium grind, medium roast, medium grind. Yeah, so if you want your coffee to taste good, the hints are always use fresh water. Ukitumia salty, it inaonja na your saltiness. I don't know if it makes sense, because when I was using this other type of coffee, sasa hii, when I was using this type of coffee was when now you can notice that it inaleta your saltiness kwa dhenani kama ile maji ya Mombasa. Us from the people from the coast, we understand the difference between salty water. So yeah, so in my house it usually has salty water. Yeah, so I use fresh water. And then for stronger or made coffee, you can increase, as I said, you can increase or decrease the amount of coffee. Ukitaka ikuwe stronger, you put more teaspoons. So ungeka kama 5 or 6. If you want it to be the way you want it, you can put 3. If you want it to be less, you can put 1. It depends on how you like it. And they were saying like the finer coffee ground, they extract more flavor and they're usually richer. So mainly by medium grind, but they say the fine grind no. I think when I was buying, I didn't get the fine grind. Yeah, when I was buying, I didn't get the fine grind. I only got the medium grind, but they're saying the fine grind has more rich flavor. And so they are saying now what I was saying, you store this in a cold dry place. After opening, you can store it in the refrigerator to maintain its freshness. Don't forget that. And then for optimum coffee taste, you can buy the coffee beans, which they also have the beans, and then you grind them before brewing. So you see that a small part of the blender. Taonyesha to next time ukibuy beans, I show you. So that's a small part of the blender inakujanga blender, and then the one for the grinding. So you put your beans there, you grind them, and then now you do this process. So hapo utaweka the grind, and this one that one now has the optimum taste of coffee. And then they are saying sasa now this coffee sasa hii niko hapa, I can't reuse it because it shall lose its freshness, and I've already done what I needed to do with it. So you see, that's the coffee grind. And then hapa ndani maji imeisha, and then this is the carpet that I was telling you guys. So kama mnaweza ona, haija focus. Yeah, this is the pipe that I was telling you. Maji inakuja from hapa juu, inaenda hivi, inakuja hapa chini, it brews, and then it comes down. Yeah, like that. Yeah, so I hope I've given you a little tips. I'm not at the best person, but this is according to what I've learned the past few months. But the more I go ahead, the more I learn, the more taonyesha. Guys, that's the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed every tip that I've showed you. There's still some coffee left. Yeah, I ended up making apparently a lot. I was only on who's drinking it. That's the hot plate that I was telling you that helps to keep the coffee warm, but now the coffee is cold. If I wanted to heat it again, I'll just turn it on. I hope you enjoyed the video. Always remember to clean your coffee maker, because the cleaner it is, the more it gives you a good coffee flavor. So I removed the filter. I've already washed it. So I wanted this to end, so I also washed this, and I napitisha maji moto hapa to clean it, na pia ku clean hapa ndani. The cleaner it is, the better for your coffee, because kuna kwanga a lot of build up. Even coffee itself, the beans have some oil in the coffee, so there's you don't want to have like an oily build up. So you also need to take care of your machine. Just don't like return it. Sijairudisha kwa sababu bado I still had some coffee remaining. So coffee kiisha, I clean this, and I also clean the coffee machine in itself. So yeah, I also clean hapo na pia ku clean huku, because you want it as clean as it can be. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like my videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share. And yeah, So anything in mnataka, any content that you want me to create, I will. Any recipe that you want, anything that you, any appliance that you want to know about, because the next thing I'm going to use is the air fryer, because I'm also now reading about it and doing some few things, do's and don'ts. So yeah, so that's the next thing. At least taonyesha how to use it, ama the rice cooker, ama the electric yeah, maybe something too, yani just an appliance in the kitchen. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy the video, and yeah, goodbye.